The way that these guys skate, like, McDavid and Pasta, like, I love just watching them. And then I ended up having a high ponytail, and then I was like, what am I doing? I'm 42 years old. I got to grow up. Score goals. Everyone loves a goal scorer. Just don't hit me, and I'm trying to tip it, so it's my goal. Some defensemen that would shoot the puck, you don't know where it's going off their blade. I don't think they actually know where the shot's going, right? Shea Weber, he always knew, or I could see off his stick, like what side.
Vážení diváci, vítám vás u další epizody podcastu Puk Pak Pivo a tentokrát jsme ve Filadelfii. Tomáši, ahoj.
Zdravím všechny posluchače a fanoušky, nacházíme se v nádherném zázemí Nestyho, bývalého kustoda Filadelfie a zároveň kamaráda Kuby Voráčka, který nás přivítal u něj v garáži.
Je to tak, Nesty byl i v Praze na Global Series, když se hrálo, já jsem tam byl tehdy v pozici kustoda. My jsme si tam hrozně sedli a on mi vyprávěl o tom, že tady tohle zázemí má. Já jsem hrozně rád, že nám to tady poskytnul k tomu, aby jsme mohli nahrát za mě jako skvělýho hosta. No. A teď nezbývá, než přeskočit do angličtiny a pokračovat v angličtině.
Je to tak, ještě jenom upozorním, že to půlka epizody bude zadarmo a zbytek máme na Hero Hero, takže vy, který vás to bude bavit, budeme rádi, že se tam na tu komunitu připojíte. Roste to, čím dál víc, jsme rádi a doufám, že vy, co posloucháte, jste tam spokojeni.
Okay, everyone, hello from this episode of Hockey Podcast Puk Pak Pivo, and I'm really glad I can welcome here Scotty HARTNELL. Scotty, hello.
What's up, guys? Yak Samaj.
Great start. We're doing well. A lot of traveling. Thank you for coming. Philly star. You used to play in Philadelphia.
Yep. Used to be a Philly star.
Oh yeah. And a long career, 17th season in NHL, 1 season in Norway. That's gonna be my question. How are you doing these days? What's your job? How are you hanging around?
Enjoying retirement?
Enjoying retirement, yeah. It took, I don't think I've worked out in 7 years since I retired, so
Okay.
Getting a little heavy in the midsection. But no, in Philadelphia here, I do the pre-intermission and post-game stuff for the Philadelphia Flyers. They were my best years in my playing career, and just loved the area when I was here. Great restaurants, great food, and we're in a great little community where we live now. So just talking some hockey, talking some Flyers, and yeah, that's about it.
Talking, that's what you like, right?
Yeah.
That's what you also like when you play the game, right?
I was a chirper, yeah. Always liked to, get the upper hand if I could, kind of taking someone down, or if they did something stupid, just say, what an idiot you are, stand up, this and that. So it was always fun to get going, and with my teammates as well, we always had a lot of fun, and making fun of each other, and taking it and giving it and all that.
When did it start? Like mid-jets?
Probably. I had older brothers, right? So I got the crap beat out of me all the time by them. So I would always tease them, and we'd tease each other, and yeah, just always kind of had that personality to kind of try and always get the last laugh in, and try and do it that way.
You played in Canada, Junior Hockey League. You're from Canada. When did you think about it? You can be pro hockey player, and you, let's say, start working differently, like a pro.
Probably when I was 14, 15 years old. Obviously, I loved hockey, loved playing. You're scoring goals every game and setting up plays, and I was a bigger kid too as well. So I was running over guys hitting wise and stuff like that. And I love baseball as well. And so when I was 14, and I asked my dad, I'm like, Dad, I really love baseball. Like, and I'm good at hockey. Like, what do you think I should do? And every kid say, oh, I'm going to play in the NHL, or I'm going to play in the majors, right? And he said, yeah, I know you do love baseball a lot, but you have a chance to make it at hockey, and nothing was given to me as well. You had to earn it and work hard and whatnot. So I stopped playing baseball and started working out and building strength, when I was 15, 16, and moved away when I was 16 to juniors, a few hours away, and I just loved, shooting pucks in the driveway, working out, things like that. And it happened quick. I was drafted, when I was 18, and I made the NHL that fall. So it all happened, really quick, and seems like my career was over in a blink, and it was 17 years. But yeah, just when I was a kid, just for the love of the game. It wasn't like I was gonna make $1 million or $10 million. It was just because it's just such a fun game and such a great team sport.
It's such a usual thing that you Canadians move in 16 years old, to far away from the family, just playing hockey. In Czech Republic, it's not like that, because the country is much smaller. Yeah. And if you do so you do the juniors to Canada, overseas, or Finland, Norway, but not that young. So how tough was it for you, for a young boy, move out of the family and start a career?
Yeah, it was. They give you a thing called billets, like another family that kind of hosts you and basically raises you as your, their extra kid, I guess. And I had great billets. They, cooked and did my laundry and stuff like that. So it was like I was living at home, but a 3.5-hour drive it was, and it was close enough where my parents could come up. Yeah, could come up and watch most of the games and travel around and kind of have those visits after a game to say hello, because you do get a little homesick when you're a young kid, 16, 17 years old. There's nothing better than a hug from mom or some tough love from dad, right? So it was a learning experience, and the next thing you know, I'm in Nashville. So it's you grow up fast, right? And when I went my first year in Nashville, I had no credit in the United States. I couldn't basically sign for my apartment. I couldn't get bills paid in for electric and gas and water, because they're like, oh, where did you come from? Just you popped in Nashville and got this apartment. So just a lot of things you had to work around to basically live and grow up fast. So
you said Nashville, they draft you. How was the first year in A team, and we call A team, sorry, the pro team?
Yeah.
Not farm, and so many players, popular players. So was it tough the first year in league? Did you have to change your position? Have you been skill guy in a junior and power forward in NHL? What was the
Yeah, no, I was basically a power forward. I was a bigger kid, like I said earlier, so I was hitting and kind of learned how to fight in junior. So I had to play that way back in 2000, and that's when you had tough guys, 2 or 3 tough guys a team, and you're sticking up for your teammates and stuff like that. I only had 2 goals and 14 assists my first year, so I was struggling offensively because gripping the stick tight, and I was hitting posts left and right, and couldn't seem to find the back of the net. And then so that was a little bit hard to realize, but I think I was like I said, I was hitting and fighting and doing other things with the puck, not like I was doing in junior, but and then the next year I had a better offensive year and I'm more comfortable. And then I had a bunch of 20, couple 30-goal seasons. When I 25, 27 years old. So
way different hockey when you have started and now. Can you imagine you with your kind of plays join this league as a young kid?
If right now, oh, it's crazy how fast the game is. I don't think I would have had the career that I had, 25 years ago that I would have now. But it's you still need guys that can hit and play tough, and obviously the finish around the net. It was pretty easy playing with Jakey. I know you guys are buds with Jakey and Voracek, and it was just playing with him. It was unbelievable. I just go to the net with the stick on the ice, and you elevate over the pad and get a top shelf, or off your shin pad and in, and off your skating in, or just not even knowing it's on my tape. Nice pass, Jakey. Back of the net. So playing with really good players like Jakey, Claude Giroux, Jágr. That was my favorite year with G and Jágr. But it was. Those guys, it's just, I was pinching myself before every game. I'm like, oh man, I'm playing with this. Jaromír Jágr, the legend, right? And it was just so much fun. I didn't want to take it for granted.
I can return the favor. We had a call with Jake, and he said if you're not going to leave Flyers, he believes that you could have a really good run for the Cup.
Yeah, it was when I got traded there, I don't even know, 2014, something like that. It kind of caught me off guard. Ron Hextall called me, and he's like, yeah, you're not going to be happy with your ice time, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be off the power play. And I was like, well, I don't want to be somewhere where I'm not wanted, right? So it was a tough decision. I had a no trade, no move clause, so I had to agree to the trade. And I always said to myself, if a team doesn't want you, move on, get out of there where someone will want you. So that's what happened there. And you know, missed the guys. Obviously, it was tough leaving, and you know, playing with Jakey and G and you know, Braden Shen, Wayne Simmons, all these guys that we had a really deep team. So unfortunately, it didn't work out. You know, to stay in Philly longer and kind of ride out my career. But you know, everything kind of happens for a reason.
If you see that decision, you know, from this time perspective, do you think it was a good decision? Would you do the same if you you know, look at that decision?
Well, I could have said no, right, and stuck around and, you know, proved to Hextall and the Flyers that I could still play. And obviously, I had a good year when I did get traded. But yeah, it was, I don't know. Like I said, everything happens for a reason. So it was like, I think it was a sign for me to, you know, kind of move on and you know, try a different team and try different luck, and never got back to the playoff. Or twice I got back to the playoffs when I left the last 4 years, but no success. So a little disappointing.
Well, you played 3 teams in the NHL, 3 franchise, right?
Yep.
But a lot of Czech players, you know, in like every
Nashville.
single organization you played with the Czechs.
Yeah.
So anything special about them, about us?
Yeah, no, well, you guys are great people, right? You know, always have a smile on your face. Everyone was so generous. You know, Jakey's one of my favorite teammates. I always said I'd have a top 5 list of teammates, and Jakey, he's fighting for number 1. I'm not going to say Jakey or number 1, but he's maybe a 1B, 1A. But it just like so generous, so kind, always you know, wanting to have a good time at the rink, competitive, away from the rink. Love, you know, you guys love food and sauces and gravy and all this kind of stuff, and just kind of how we grew up, right? And you know, Jakey's one of the most you know, generous human beings that I've ever met. I would, you know, take off his shoes for you and give him you know, give him to me, right, if I needed something. So. And, you know, Marty Erad, another good guy that played with. He was so funny, and you know, list goes on and on. Jágr, obviously, we mentioned earlier.
Jágr is still playing, by the way.
I know. I don't know what you're doing, Jágr. Retire already, buddy.
He love it. He love it.
I
and
know.
he will keep maybe playing other season. They saying this is last one, but
you never know.
you never know about
know.
Jágr. He probably doesn't know what to do after career. So let's play.
Keep playing.
That was your best season. Giroux, you, and Jaromír Jágr.
Yep.
What was special at the year? What's happened? Great chemistry at the line, or the team like worked very hard and he was just on the, let's say, the final guy who hit it in the puck to the net?
It was weird. I had like a kind of a neck injury, and was like I had like tingling in my hands at the beginning before training camp, right? And so I kind of didn't have the strength in to shoot and stuff like that. So I didn't have the best training camp. So I started that year on the 4th line with Max Talbot and Matt Reed, and I was playing okay or whatever. You know, you're only playing like, you know, 10, 12, 13 minutes,
Tough
something like
line.
that. Yeah, and so we were kind of okay the first like 4 or 5 games, and then I got put up with Drew and Jágr, right? And I'm like,
Oh,
I call my agent. I'm like, man, I got one game, like a one game tryout with this, you know, this line. Like, I gotta, you know, make it happen. And I, you know, maybe had 1 point in 4 or 5 games. So bad start. First game with them, we play unreal, like chances. You know, I'm set up Jágr, he's setting up me. G's doing his deal, passing everywhere. No goals. I think we lost the game, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to be back on the 4th line. You know, I just kind of had a bad night. You know, couldn't sleep, thinking about the chances and stuff like that. Next day of practice, I'm still with the line. I'm like, oh, okay, had a good practice, you know, scored some goals, confidence, and that next game. So the second game with Jágr and G, 2 goals, 2 assists, you know, just kind of set that year on fire, right? And then we were, I wouldn't say unstoppable, but we had a great chemistry and figured it out from there, and we were always on the score sheet, so it was fun.
a lot of players saying it's very hard to play with Jaromír Jágr because he needs player in this position. He doesn't like when somebody coming to him to help him in the corner.
Yeah.
So what was the, let's say, advices to you, or
I don't know, instructions.
instruction like
Well,
from Jágr to you to don't help me, what to do?
Have you ever heard "Don't follow me to the corner"?
This is what he would tell me, like every couple games. So he'd go, you know, getting ready, and he'd have, you know, the weight vests on, and, you know, stick handling with the weight on his stick, and he's going around, and he's like, Scotty, he's like, I'm feeling so fucking good tonight. I'm feeling so good. What you gonna do? I'm gonna dump the puck in your corner. You're gonna protect it, okay? You protect it. Just leave it there. It takes me a minute to get there, so a little bit slower to get there. He's like, I'm going to take the puck. I'm going to do this move, and you go to the net. I'm going to hit you back door. And I'm like, okay. And then like literally 30 seconds later, Claude Drew would come up to me. He's like, Hartsey, I feel so good, man. Like we're going to go, give me the puck, little give and go. So I got two of the best players like in the world, right? Like telling me they want the puck. So I'm like, okay, I don't want the puck. I'll just give it to you guys. So sure enough, that game when Jágr told me that story, puck's in. So I'm thinking like he dumped it in my corner. I'm like, okay, this is the play. So get in there, you know, kind of put in my feet or whatever, and I could kind of see him coming. He's like, Scotty. So I kick it to him, and, you know, he kind of separates the man from just the puck's out there. Yeah, no one can get the puck from
one arm.
I'm like, I'm pinned against the board. I'm like, I got to get out of here. So I got out of there, went back door. The puck went off the pad to me, back door, scored. And I'm like, he's like, told you, Scotty. It was awesome.
He's doing the same thing at the Czech League at these days.
Yeah.
The same thing he talks to the young players, like, give me the puck, go to the net, I will find you.
Yeah, it's
but
awesome.
now he's moving a little bit slower than before, but
Yeah.
still do the same plays. What about Jejiich? You played with him at the line? Did
Yep.
you have some season like chemistry with him?
We had a couple seasons with G and Jejiich, and you know, Jejiich so fast, right? So strong. Very similar games to Jágr, right? But he's obviously a lot quicker. But just the vision that he had, it was always be ready to shoot with Jejiich. I think he'd rather pass the puck than shoot the puck in the net, right? And there was the end of one season, it was our power play. It was Wayne Simmons in front, G's on the half wall, Jejiich's on the back side, like the kind of goes up and back, and then Kimmo Timonen up top on the power play. And it was almost like we were playing 5-on-4, right? So we had the man advantage. It was almost like 4-on-4 because Jejiich was the backdoor guy, but he never ever really got the puck, and so we're scoring all these goals. One of the best power plays in the league, and Jejiich never really got any points because it was always going, you know, G down to Simmer, up to me, G to me, goal, up to Kimmo, shot, I'd tip it in, or Wayne would get a rebound in, and Jejiich was always like, I don't even know if he had a power play goal. That we'd have to check the stats there. And finally, and then we played against Pittsburgh in the first round of the playoffs, and he got a bunch of goals, Jejiich, on the power play. But we were always like, he's the decoy on the backside, just not doing anything, just looking good, going up and back, and we'd score. So that's.
What about nightlife? Jejiich, a lot of trips, a lot of parties, a lot of dinners. Is there something special what you remember with him? Because we spent a couple nights, a couple dinners with him. It's something else.
Yes, yeah. You can only have probably one or two nights in a row with that guy, and then you'd be dead, right? He's got one speed, and that's full speed, right? He's always wants to go and keep the party going. And I remember in Charleston, so Jejiich played 1,000 games. Jejiich was very generous with me. When I played 1,000 games, he got me a trip to Paris for the French Open, and he loves tennis. So, loves it. And, you know, he got me a flight over, hotels, tickets for the men's semis, women's semis, final for 3-4 days, and dinners, and everything was just on Jejiich. It was unbelievable, right? And just such a kind and generous human being, and it was just like, let's keep going. I'm like, man, we got a long day watching tennis again tomorrow. We'll be in the sun for 6-7 hours, and you just wanted to go. And first cut on, finally I had to go to bed the one night pretty early, but and then fast forward to Jejiich got 1,000 games, so I reciprocated the trip, and we were going to go to a Bruce Springsteen concert, which he knows every single word of every single song, which is unbelievable. But then he had COVID, he canceled the concert, so that sucked. But then we took a PJ to Charleston, South Carolina, and played golf for a few days, and dinners and nightlife and stuff. And it was pedal down for him. He wanted to just keep going, and it was just a great few days. But then probably slept for a couple days after we got back.
He told us we should ask you about some house party in your house, and you will know that.
I do know what he's talking about. Yep.
What was that?
Okay, I can't tell you.
Okay.
When we stop recording.
Okay.
I will say that Jejiich is one of the worst dart players out there. No, do you guys have darts in Czech?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It
doesn't look like it because Jejiich could hardly throw a dart, and I took lots of money off him and Drew playing darts at Buffalo Billiards in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah. We a couple of weeks ago it was a huge tournament in Czech. A lot of fans going there. They wear costumes like on Halloween night. They just drink all day and watching people playing darts. It's amazing sport because you don't have to look like athlete. You can look like beer guy, and you can be very popular.
It's unbelievable. I love watching those, like you said, the Halloween things on TV, and just how the party's going on. Like I actually, that's on my bucket list to do before I pass away, is to go to one of these tournaments and watch these guys. And
I guess you got to do the England. You know, it's like
the right after Christmas, I think. Yeah.
When they throw 180, you know,
180.
so it's like a massive party. Everyone is drinking. I guess the players are drinking too.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure there's
Great
no rule that
athletes,
they have to be
great
sober.
athletes,
They have to have a couple of beers, maybe Radegast, maybe a little bit Radegast.
Yeah, no, I gotta try this bad boy later.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully I can get a case of Radagast from you guys.
Yeah, we got the cash. The thing is, you've been part of the trade, Peter Forsberg
Yep.
to Nashville, and you and Kimmo Timonen to Philly, right?
Yep.
How did you get the information? Have you been set from leaving the Nashville, or was it something like, yeah, I'm gonna try something new?
So it was, we traded for, Nashville traded Philadelphia for Peter Forsberg when we were still on the team at the trade deadline. So we were in the playoffs. We lost first round to San Jose, and then I think Peter, I don't know if he retired after that year or not. I think he did.
Didn't play a lot of games there.
And me and Kimmo were going to be unrestricted free agents, UFAs, and Philly called David Poyle, the GM of Nashville, and saying, hey, we want to sign these guys, blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of like a trade and sign. So we ended up both getting traded together to Philly for a first-round draft pick that Nashville gave them for Forsberg the year before, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of different in Czech and US about the salary, about the signing deals. You people in US know how big deal you sign. In Czech, you don't know anything about it. Would you like to change this in the US? Is it okay that people know your salary, or the Czech version or the Czech way could be better for this country?
For the NHL players, you mean?
For the league,
for the league, I think it's great to know what other guys are making, right? So if one guy's making $5 million and he scores 15 goals and I'm scoring 25 goals, I should be making a lot more than this guy, right? And if you don't have that transparency or know what's going on, it'd be a little tricky that way, but it could work in your favor too, right? It'd be like, oh yeah, I make 100,000 when you're making 15 million.
You're absolutely right, and I think it would help also in a Czech hockey environment to know that everybody know the salary of each player, because you pay the tickets, you want to know, and you can have an expectation about that if you know that this is the biggest start of the team, so he has to score the points every game.
Yep, no, for sure. I think it puts a little pressure on the guys too. To you make $5 million or you make 500,000 in Czech, you need to play, and fans will hold you accountable and all that kind of stuff. So that's huge.
Quick question: do you miss Giroux in Philly jerseys now these days?
The which what?
Giroux, G.
Drew?
Do you miss him at Philly?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
His seasons?
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying like friend.
Yeah.
But like a player.
Yeah, he's such a good player, right? He was so strong. He was the passes that he would make are incredible. Could see the ice, a step or two ahead of the defenders, right? So when he got traded to Florida a few years ago, after he played his 1,000th game as a Flyer, 1,001 points, I think it was, like over a point a game. So it was pretty. Just a change of guard, I guess, if you will. Like, it's not G's team anymore. It's somebody else. So it's Flyers are looking for that guy to kind of replace him. They got the Russian guy, Mishkov, on the squad now. He's had a good year point wise. So it's exciting to see where this team's going. It's kind of hasn't been the best start for the boys here this year, but they got to pick it up.
Well, this was the first half of our podcast. Last question, pizza or pasta?
Oh, it's a great question. I love pizza, but there's nothing better than a nice pasta with the vodka sauce, lots of gravy, lots of sauce. Jakey loves it too. We had our favorite spot.
He loves everything.
Oh yeah, he does. We would go to this place called Spasso in Philly, and I'd get the same thing every time. He would get the same thing every time. Lots of sauce, great bread. And lots of good times dining with Jakey.
And if you have to decide pizza, which kind of pizza you would like to eat? Like pepperoni, Americano, Texas?
I like a deluxe pizza with the onions, peppers, sausage, pepperoni. I like it all. Nothing better than a good cheese pizza as well too.
That's true.
All right, guys, join us for our paid subscription platform, herohero.co/Puk Pak Pivo to finish this podcast with Scotty Hartnell. Thank you again for coming out. It was a second half. So this is the new era of the orange. It's like marketing tool for Philadelphia Flyers. Where do you see Flyers in 5 to 7 years?
Well, hopefully they're in the playoffs consistently. Hopefully they got a good core of guys. I think right now they got some young guys. Michkov obviously being the #1 guy right now. He wasn't supposed to come for 2 to 3 years, having his contract in Russia, right? You got Owen Tippett, Tyson Forster, some great D. Travis Sanheim, Cam York, Nick Seeler. He's a beast blocking shots. Sam Harrison has been playing some really good goal of late here as well. So where do I see them? I hope they're top 8 team in the league, fighting for not only getting in the playoffs. That should be a lock every year if you have that consistency, but to fight for a Stanley Cup, winning some rounds and having that winning feeling. It's been a while since the Flyers have had that. Getting in the playoffs, #1, but to knowing that you're going to beat a team up in the playoffs, and like you said, a new era of orange. Hopefully it's a great era of orange.
2 Russians on the team with massive pressure on them. Matvei Michkov and a goalie.
Fedotov.
Yeah. It was a massive media, thing about him coming from Russia to Philadelphia. So how they battling the pressure, and how do you feel about them? Are they big ads on the team?
Yeah, well, Fedotov, he's a big goaltender. He's still trying to figure out the NHL style of play. I think it's a lot different than Russian style with the big ice and the puck protection, and it's a faster game over here in the NHL. And Michkov, I didn't know really much about him other than people are saying this guy's going to be a stud. Like this guy's he's got the fire, he's got the skills, in processing the game in his head faster than a regular 3rd, 4th liner, right? So he's very elite that way. You can see that right off the bat. So and not knowing English really at all for Michkov, it's tough, right? Like I went to Norway for the lockout season in 2004, and you feel lost sometimes. You're like, oh man, I just want to go home and speak to your buddies in English all the time, where they're trying to talk English to me. So I know kind of how he's feeling, and it's not a great feeling, but you got to try and learn it and put yourself out there to get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
I think he's gonna do better every year. I saw him play a couple of games. He know how to play hockey. He just need more time, and maybe like players to know him like Jágr. The chemistry is very important. He has very tough coach, Mr. Torts.
Yep.
We heard so many stories because this is episode 170 maybe.
Yeah.
And a lot of Czech players play with Torts. I feel like you've been playing under him in Columbus, right?
Yep.
Tell me something about his pre-workout season, skating, meetings. Is it tough? Like, was it something special?
Old-time hockey, yes and no. It was always good to have a couple fights or some brawls and things like that. You get a little emotion now sometimes in the NHL, but the way that these guys skate, like McDavid and McKinnon and Cale Makar, these guys, watching those guys play and skate, Pasta, Panarin in New York Rangers. Like I love just watching them do stuff that you're like you only dream of, really. Like I played in the best league in the world for 17 years, and I'll do Sergei Bobrovsky, the best goalie in the world right now.
Finally with the cup.
Stanley Cup. That was
Columbus.
Pretty cool.
You played with him in Columbus?
Yeah, played with him in Columbus.
How is he, like a guy? Like weirdo or
no,
nice
not a weirdo.
guy?
Nice, super nice guy. Even after stop playing, and every time I see him at the rink, he's always gives me a big hug, and just a really, really good human being. And how hard he works to be the best goalie. It's harder. His work ethic is way harder than any other goaltender, forward, defenseman that I've ever seen in the NHL. Well, I grew it out last year just like a frohawk all the way, and then I ended up having a high ponytail, and then I was like, what am I doing? I'm 42 years old. I got to grow up.